What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Antonette Medved, and I am the captain of this ship. And I would like to touch on a few things before we get into this week's episode. First and foremost, if you are a fan of the podcast and you have not yet left me a rating and a review and have not yet subscribed to the podcast, I do not know what you are doing. I'm just asking you to do that if you're a fan of the podcast. It's free, takes a couple minutes of your day. If you got some good words about what you like about the podcast, leave them on a review. 5 stars, much appreciated. Thanks in advance. May 1st. So May 1st is an important date in the city of Pittsburgh. May 1st. 2 of the biggest brands in the city are collaborating to drop a very, very dope merch capsule. Turner Dairy Farms, the proud sponsors of I'll Call You Right Back podcast, and the great Steel City brand that is, basically, Pittsburgh in a clothing line form. They are collaborating to drop this merch package. They got a handful of items, and they are all pretty dope. But that's March 1st. You could hear the dog jacking around upstairs. I apologize. But March 1st, on the Steel City brand website, you could hop on there 10 a.m. and grab yourself some merchandise before it sells out. Important week this week, okay? So first thing is first, we are going to... Oh, there she is, going nuts. Tonight we're going to training. This is the first official night of training. Last week we did... the consultation over Zoom where everyone kind of met each other. We figured out what to bring and prepare for class. And tonight is the first class of Success Just Clicks dog training with Nadja the dog. And Nadja has been she's been doing well. She's still a little bit of fucking out of pocket, I'll tell you, but she's been doing well. Me and Antonette have been, we just enjoy our time with her, and she's a complicated puzzle to solve. But tonight we'll see what the first round of training does, and I'll be sure to keep you up to date with it because I know you all care so much. But this week we have a special guest. Probably the most special guest we've had on here. I sit down with one of the greatest makeup artists in the city of Pittsburgh, Antonette Medved MUA. Antonette, for people that don't know, is my amazing wife. She's been on here a handful of times. We've talked about everything from moving to the Free Britney campaign to, all kinds of shit. Nadja, we do a handful of episodes, and anytime I put one out, people always message me, and they're like, they like our rapport, and that's cool with me. I mean, she's my best friend, so I would expect that we would have a good rapport back and forth. But I think people just like hearing us chirp at each other, which is fair too. We're good. We're up there with the best of them. But this week, I come at Antonette a little bit different. I come at her as a businesswoman that I usually talk to people about their lives, and it's hard for me to talk to people that are close for me because I know their life already. You know what I mean? I probably know Antonette better than anyone else in the world. And it's hard for me to kind of just go at it as someone who, is a fresh, interviewee. So I came at Antonette as just a makeup artist in the city who is creating a thriving business. And I wanted to, figure out how she got into it. So, I come at it as a legit interview and not just a conversation with my wife. You know what I mean? I respected her position as a businesswoman, and I genuinely came into this, trying to learn the makeup business, the wedding makeup business. And I think I did a pretty damn good job, if I do say so myself. And, I always love talking to Antonette. Me and her, we just crack up, laughing at each other all the time, and just loving each other all the time. You know what I mean? We're in this life together, and it's cool to be able to, see her thrive in a business. And, with my podcast, it's we're both doing something. We both have a creative outlet. We both excuse me. We both are, just out here hustling. You know what I mean? Power couple. Let's get it. But I'm excited to drop the episode because I really think that, makeup is obviously not something that I am completely interested in. You know what I mean? But, I wanted to learn about it simply for the, respect that I have for her. And I think a lot of people that follow her and, work with her will be interested to hear about, her journey as well. So without further ado, episode 161 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with the great and powerful Antonette Medved MUA. Hello?
Telephone. I'll call you right back. Call you right back. Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Official now.
Yeah, like a ref with a whistle.
Official. So my thoughts about this episode was that I was going to approach it as someone who doesn't know you.
Okay, that's good.
I know, but it's going to be difficult because...
that's how you approach all of your podcasts, I would hope. That's like the goal.
Yeah, so like my thoughts about all this was that I wanted to approach it from... that's why it's hard for me to have like super close friends on here or super close people because it's like I already know
everything about them.
Yeah, it's like I already know all these things about people.
And who knows me better than you? Like we are together all the time.
Yeah, but it's like we also have like a different language that we talk. Like we know about things that like so it's hard to like, and you have that with anyone that's like super close. So that's like why it's difficult to have super close people on. But you and I are a different dynamic. You're a fan favorite on here. Anytime we have an episode, people seem to really enjoy it.
I think that's because you and I have a good rapport.
A good rapport. I was going to write that today in the post, but I couldn't spell rapport. And I was spelling
R-A-P-P-O-R-T.
Well, I was spelling it so bad.
I was in spelling bee. I think we talked about that on a different podcast, didn't we?
Maybe we did. You had to spell rapport?
No, I had to spell rhythm.
Oh.
R-H-T... I can't. R-H-Y-T-H-M. I misspelled it. I try to spell it really fast now because I had to conquer that.
In case you fuck up.
Yeah.
But I couldn't spell rapport and I spelled it so bad that spell check even couldn't do it. So I just said, me and you.
Wait, how did you do it?
I said, R-A-P-O-R-E.
Like a pour on your face? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, but
that's okay.
I'm only human.
Yep. Good college try.
Yeah, so I just changed it to, good back and forth.
Yeah.
A couple more words. But anyway, I wanted to approach this as like an interview with someone that I don't know because, one, I don't know much about makeup.
Right.
I guess I know a little bit now because you and I have been, together for so long. And like, I take consideration of what you do as far as a business. And I
would hope so.
I know, but I mean, like, as far as like me watching like videos and like, trying to learn about like what you do. But, and
you've been along for the ride for a while now. This isn't like
for the whole time.
Yeah, this didn't start yesterday. We're like 3 years into it. 3 solid years of me doing this.
I got in on the ground floor. Like I was a ground floor supporter.
Yeah.
So
you were, and I meant to text it to you, but I forgot. I wanted you to post, maybe you can later.
The video of you doing my makeup?
No, the picture, well, that one's funny.
Yeah.
The picture of the carrying case that you bought me whenever I first started my business, because I did not invest in like a nice carrying case to carry all my makeup, but like you, sponsored the beginning of my business essentially.
I'm a big time investor.
Yeah. Because I make so much money.
You definitely don't. I don't know. It's like you don't ever take in consideration yourself as far as like investing in yourself. You kind of just like are like, I'm going to just do it with this and make it the best that I could do.
But I feel like I was raised that way.
Yeah.
So I mean, you
agree.
were too, but you throw a few bucks around.
You got to.
Scare money ain't
Scare money don't make
money. Yeah, I can't think of the
analogy.
Yeah,
But maybe that's not that. Maybe that's not an analogy.
no cliche. I don't know what you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call
Either
it.
way.
But I mean, you got to invest in your own business because, like, it's your business. So I throw around a little bit of money because, I just want my shit to sound good. These episodes sound good. I'm happy we got like.
Oh my God, this is absolutely fantastic. Like, I can't believe how professional this looks from where you were in our living room in our tiny apartment to where we are here with, I mean, I could hear myself on the headset, and like I just heard that you
Hear
lowered
yourself
me down
on the headset, and a perfect segue.
Am I being too loud? Should I back up a little bit?
No, you're good. I'll tell you if you're being too loud.
All right.
But a perfect segue with investing in yourself. I do an opening segment called "What's in the Cup." I don't know if we ever officially did one because I usually forget to ask you.
No, I think you did get me a Diet Coke one time.
Well, whatever. What do we got
make me
today and what's in
coffee.
the cup?
We got Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi, and it's pretty fantastic. Like, I really like it.
It's crispy for sure.
It is. And I don't think Coke makes a Diet Cherry version. I think they just, actually think they did more recently, but it's like spicy. It's like a weird one-off flavor.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's not good.
But so, I mean, when do you remember the first time you ever put on makeup?
No.
You don't. I mean,
remember
like,
that.
but I mean, okay. So, do you remember the
It
first?
had to be, I was probably like, I don't know, like 12 or 13. I have a little story as a little anecdote to the beginning of this podcast because.
Tell me it. I'm here.
So I don't know if I ever told you this story. I feel like I might have. So one time, so I lived in New Kensington growing up, and I was supposed to go to one elementary school. Didn't work out. For some reason, they were renovating the old one. We went to this other one that was like a little bit further, so I had to ride a bus.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time I ever had to ride a bus because I used to walk to school.
Yeah.
So that's like the first time that I've ever really like started to have like time away from my mom, like before I got to school and stuff. So she took me to the bus stop one day. I got on the bus, and then some little girl on the bus. I had to be like kindergarten or first grade. Like, I was so young.
Yeah.
Some little girl on the bus had makeup and was bringing makeup to school. And, I'm just always been girly. Like, I wanted to start indulging in this. And apparently this is the first time my mom ever remembers me starting to be interested in makeup. So I was on the bus, and I got to school, and I was sitting there for, I don't know, maybe like an hour or something. And then my mom showed up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is my mom? I'm a kid. I'm in first grade, so I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But I was like, my mom's here. So I go into the office, and next thing I know, I'm getting yelled at because I put makeup on the bus. Some little girl had like blue eyeshadow or something like that.
Wow.
And she put makeup on me, or I don't know. I was so young that I don't remember exactly how everything happened.
How old are you in first grade?
I don't know, like 7. Are you like 7 in first grade?
I
feel like that's an age where like a mom might be like, here's a little bit of fake makeup that's just like for play.
Yeah.
And my mom just was pissed. Like,
Really?
was so fucking mad because I put makeup on. Like, I remember her screaming at me saying that I shouldn't be doing that. So I don't know if the mom or the elementary school teacher called my mom maybe and said, hey, she showed up to school with makeup on.
She looks like a hooker.
Yeah, like 7 years old or something, 8 years old. So I'm wearing this full like face of makeup, and I'm getting scolded, and I don't know the difference because I'm 7 years old.
But your mom your mom always wore makeup.
Oh my God, yeah. And that's probably why like
You were into it.
I was into it. Like what I've noticed when working with clients is if your mom was interested in makeup, usually you are. But like if I have a client maybe who's not a huge makeup wearer, they'll be like, my mom never wore makeup. So maybe that's where it really started, was like I saw her like ritual and routine every day. Cause like my mom goes nowhere without a face on.
Yeah.
My mom, she got to have a face on with her hair done. She's not walking out the door unless she's totally put together.
Yeah.
So
Hot rollers in.
So that's what I grew up with. So like
You saw it.
I saw it. And I'm not saying my mom was like bad at makeup, but I'm saying that she wasn't that great necessarily, but she had all of the products. She had everything you need to put a full face on.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't know how to apply it. Fantastic.
But
She wasn't bad at it though.
But that was like your first experience, like seeing makeup. That was like another thing I was, I assume that was like your initiation to seeing makeup being applied and everything.
Where
like
else
that.
were you seeing it when I was 7 years old, 8 years old? It wasn't YouTube
it's weird
like they do
because-
now, because that's a whole thing.
Yeah, I know that's weird, but it's weird because like my mother was never someone who was like into like makeup.
No, your mom
and
is
like,
not.
Like supposedly my mother cut her hair short whenever she had kids just so she didn't have to deal with it. Supposedly, I never really seen her wear like a full face of makeup or anything like that. She always just wore that blue eyeshadow, and that's like she'll be like, "Oh, I can't go out if I don't have my makeup on," and you're just like,
and it's blue eyeshadow,
literally just like a little bit of blue eyeshadow. It's not like anything crazy, and blue mascara, I guess. But that's literally the only thing I ever remember. Because I was thinking today, I was like, do I ever really remember her putting on like a lot of makeup? And I think I remember her having like a compact.
What about her mom? Was Linda really into
No.
makeup? Yeah. So there you go.
Fuck no.
If your mom isn't into it, you're probably not going to get super into it unless something else sparked your interest into it.
Yeah, because like, I just, I guess like none of her sisters are like super crazy into it. Like, yeah, they use a little bit of it, but it was never like something like super, super around all the time. And like, I remember my cousin Michelle being into makeup, but like before that, it's like, as a young boy, you don't like, that's not something that even like.
That's another thing. Your mom had 2 boys. Like, when did she even have time to do her makeup?
Well, it's like I don't even remember like as a boy like it resonating into my mind like of girls like wearing makeup, doing makeup.
Oh, you know what you should do with this? You should put that picture out there of you dressed as a girl.
Yeah, I could do that. I think I had makeup on.
That would be a good
that.
one. You did.
Yeah, but I just don't remember. Like I was really trying to think of like I don't remember makeup like a lot in my younger years. Maybe it's just because I was a boy and that was like not something that I like paid attention to, but I think it's also because like it was never like something that was a big deal in my house or like my families in general. Like my Grammy used to.
So you didn't really know too much about it.
It was like I don't know. It was strange. But you like your mother is always like dressed to the nines and always matching.
Oh yeah,
and
like her sisters always the same thing. Like except for Tina, but like would do their makeup, get dressed, like, and their family. So like there was a certain level, I think, of like keeping up appearances in that sense. And like, that's just like part of the culture of our family.
When did it start like in your life where you were allowed to like start wearing makeup? And like when did that happen? And like, because I know that it's like frowned upon.
I guess people who are more reasonable don't let their kid wear makeup until like, I don't know, like 13, 14.
Yeah. Is that like when it's socially like acceptable? Because I feel like it's looked down upon if it's
but
like.
minimally, I feel like you don't like jump in with a full face of makeup like I do now.
You don't want to look like a hooker.
No. Like you might be introduced to like mascara or lip gloss at that age. It's not like a big major part of your life at that point. But like.
With gel pens.
With gel pens, yeah. People were probably drawing on each other's faces with gel pens, I bet.
But so, I mean, 12, 13, like, do you actively remember like being young and being like wanting to wear?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, so you were excited about it.
I was always excited about it. Like,
really?
Yeah, didn't you just hear my story when I was 7 years old?
I mean, I guess,
but on the bus.
Yeah, but whenever I was 7, I did dumbass shit and that didn't really matter. But like,
yeah, but like.
But that's always something that like you kind of stuck with is like wanting to be able to like put makeup on and do that.
Oh yeah. I've always wanted to learn like makeup hair. Like if we were in an alternate world, I would probably have been like a hairdresser or something. But I just like hair doesn't click with me the same way makeup does. I feel like I don't know. When I was younger, I wasn't like, oh my God, I have to like do my hair. It has to be perfect. Like I would just have whatever hair and just because I would express with my makeup and my face.
Yeah, well, we also grew up in like an emo phase where it was like,
that's true.
You know what I mean?
So my hair was like
dark straight to the side.
Yeah. So there was very minimal effort you needed for that too. You just had to straighten your hair.
You were never one that was like, wearing the neon, like shotgun burst, hair or anything like that.
But I wanted to, but my mom never let me. So I just dyed it black, and that was what I did. I just had black hair forever.
Now, how did whenever you got into makeup, how did your mother respond to that? Was she like, did she embrace it?
No. Like, she let me start probably, like I said, with something minimal, like mascara and lip gloss. And then, like, when I started, I guess whenever you're looking more into, like, the emo phase, what you would consider of my life, where I was more, like, angsty with
like
makeup.
15 around?
Yeah, like 15, 16. I was starting to, like...
You don't understand me, Mary Lynn.
Yeah, like, try to experiment with makeup and, like, see where it would take me. Not really looking for one certain end result, just like try to figure it out. Yeah, just
messing around with it. Where did a young girl buy makeup back then?
Like CVS and Rite Aid. Yeah, like my mom wasn't spending $30 on a highlighter for me. Like, damn.
Listen, I'm trying to come at this as a fresh person.
Okay, my age, that stuff was not. There was no Sephora.
Yeah.
When I was 15
I remember my mom
16.
going to like Eckerd.
There might have just been. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we would go to Eckerd and Olympia.
Well, your mom hasn't bought mascara since 20 years ago, Eckerd?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's whenever I remember her going to get makeup, Right. Whenever I was 16, I wasn't going with my mom all the time to get makeup, but that's specifically where I remember.
Yeah.
And then I remember my aunts.
If you were looking for something on the higher end back then, it was at Macy's.
Avon.
Or Avon. Like, Avon isn't a higher end.
Well, but it's
brand,
like, I remember Avon was a place that like my aunt and everything would go to get that stuff. So like, I guess that was like one of the first times I remember it. Cause I remember like looking at catalogs and stuff like that.
While she was looking at makeup.
No, she was an Avon seller. So like she always had catalogs in her house. But it was interesting because like,
like that mail order concept where you had a mail order.
Yeah, I don't know. Anytime my thought of makeup, like probably until like, me and you started dating and because like, I don't know, I guess like I didn't have like a lot of girlfriends that were like super crazy with makeup, but I always had a feeling of like the mom from Edward Scissorhands, like the Avon mom there. Yeah. Like that's, I don't know. It's just like that's
when you picture makeup, you picture like that counter lady with
Joyce.
The red blush, and the blue eyeshadow.
And like with the green suit jacket with the shoulder pads, and they're like, "Oh, hi, Joyce." And
I feel like that's what a lot of people...
brooch. I think of a brooch,
just like overdone. Everything kinda. Is overdone.
Smelling like floral, cheap perfume. Yep. Like I swear to God,
lady.
Yeah, I could just picture it. But it's interesting because like I thought a good pivot point on this podcast is the whole emo phase because I
feel like that's where I started embracing what 100%. Makeup could do for me.
100% because anyone that's around 30 to 35 and like had did a nickel on MySpace, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like,
put eyeliner on yourself, boy or girl, don't matter. I know you did. I'm sure you did.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. I think I have had eyeliner put on me before, but I think it was for, it was never just like, I'm an emo, I'm going to put eyeliner on. I was never that emo, just so you know.
Oh, I dated a guy that was.
I bet you did, but I've had eyeliner on because of like, Halloween and shit like that. And it's just like, I know what it is, but, the emo phase was such an interesting thing because sometimes you would see some crazy ass girls that were like, that would have like the raccoon stripes and like, literally just like a black circle around your eye. And you're like, all right, like that's fine.
And then like the concealer lips where you couldn't even see their lips.
Unreal.
It was just like so white.
Pale.
Yeah. Oh,
just
I did
like,
all that stuff.
Everyone looked like what we did in the shadows. It's like exactly. Everyone was pale and it's like, hey, I'm not judging it.
No color in the skin.
That was what we were into. Like
we loved
we were all looking for people that were, like us. But it's interesting because like,
that's who I wanted to be.
Well, the emo phase is like, you do embrace things a little bit differently. I guess that's like kind of like.
That's the idea of it. You're a little bit alternative.
And you do different things. And it's like, but I was trying to like be devil's advocate with it. It's like, there's the regular, like I call them the Abercrombie girls. Like I think that people know what I mean whenever I say an Abercrombie girl.
Yeah.
You know,
Like a preppy, like, yeah.
You know, those are Abercrombie girls, whatever. They put on a certain type of makeup that's all kind of like similar, I would feel. You know, you kind of had a similar thing. But then you would look into like, you know, the pits of, you know, like the Subculture and Octane and like like all them emo places where you would go for bands and everything. And
I
you would
was
have
one of them.
Well, you had girls that were like, you would be, you know, a girl would be like, a scale of 1 to 5 with makeup, you know, girls would be 1s and then girls would be like 5s where they would have like the crazy thick.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and like the big wing, like all the way out here.
Yeah. Like the millionaires, like, you know what I mean?
Very, very millionaires vibe.
And whenever I say 1 to 5, just before I get, you know, crucified, I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about like you know, amount of makeup.
Yeah.
No, not even a skill, just
amount
of like how much they would do, because like some girls will wear makeup, like you can't really tell that like you have like a crazy amount of makeup on. Like at least guys can't. I don't know. No guy is like, oh, that girl ain't wearing
Are you looking
nothing.
at me right now and saying you can't tell that I have a crazy amount of makeup on? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, like, I'm just saying it looks like a natural type thing. But,
Yeah.
But in emo,
that's the thing. Like the way that you're doing your makeup is expressing like what you want to, how you want to portray yourself that day.
100%. But I'm just
like,
saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Back then, you saw wild shit. You saw
Yeah.
girls that were using blatant, like the wings
Right.
that were out to your ears. So you would see, and like that became like more of like a regular thing.
Yeah.
And you, I mean, I assume that like whenever you're getting around like 15, 16, 17 and all that stuff, like are you like, am I
transcending from that, or am I just
no? Like, how does one develop, you know, the sense to put on makeup? Like, are you practicing in your room and shit like that? Like, boys never had to do that.
So,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I was always a daily makeup wearer. So whenever I did start, okay, and when I was 15, 16,
Yeah.
when I really started, like, I guess like layering the right way. There's no right or wrong way to do makeup. So let's just establish that right up front here. There's no right or wrong way to do makeup. So whenever I was kind of in those beginning stages, then I started becoming an everyday makeup wearer. So even if at the beginning it was just like mascara and eyeliner, and then like over a couple years, then it was like, oh, I did the foundation, I did the blush, concealer, eyebrows, like what I would consider a full face of makeup.
Yeah.
Like I that was my practice. Like the everyday ritual of doing that was my practice, and I just over time.
Like, were you busted in the beginning at it?
Oh my God, I was, of course. Like,
I think I remember a couple pictures of you from back then, and your eyebrows look like just like a
pencil
little
thin, babe. Like they were so bad.
It's interesting now because, like, you know,
but that has to do with trends changing too, which we'll touch on later. But
I get that.
Yeah.
I definitely get that. But I also think that, you know, they were paper thin back then.
Right.
So it was just like, you know, it's interesting. Like you're telling me at one point, like that was just the move.
That was the move, babe. That was it.
I guess look at Jeffree Star. He don't even have eyebrows.
That's what I'm saying. Whenever we were in that phase, you have to think we're like just coming out of like Britney Spears, like pop princess kind of stuff. Like
and
people had
in.
thin eyebrows because of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we're also kind of at the same time, our influences are coming from people like the millionaires and, you know, other women, Lady Gaga, whomever it may be. I mean, yeah, Lady Gaga was like mid 2000s.
I guess. Sorry.
But yeah, that's kind of how trends change. Like over time, like now today you might see the winged eyeliner and a thicker brow. You know what I mean? Like it just evolves over time. And that's kind of what makeup really is, but at least the style of it. But when, you know, that daily ritual, that daily practice just increased my ability and understanding of placement and what the right products to use for my skin are. Like it just takes time.
Where did you learn these things from? Because obviously there
wasn't anything like that back.
Yeah, there was not like a bunch of channels on YouTube.
You weren't looking up James Charles to teach you how to put your mascara on. Like it's like pretty much self-taught. Like hands-on. Like I would research products a lot. Like that was how I identified what was going to be right for my skin.
How are you doing that? Reading Highlights magazine? Like,
No,
how are
like-
you researching back then?
I mean, we had the internet when we were like 16, 17.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Touche.
So I would research like, cause at that time I was really young. I had oily skin
Yeah.
and like now it's not so bad, but, I would Google like whatever, what products work for oily skin and why. And I would try to figure that out. Like what is reacting to that product that is causing the oil to come through versus, what ingredients in that product are keeping my oils at bay. So
Yeah.
just like starting to understand what the products do and what they're used for, I think was a big part of learning and understanding how the right makeup was going to work for me.
Were you someone that like immediately was just like, I have to have makeup on every day?
Oh yeah. It's because of my mom.
Yeah.
It goes back to that. Like she was a makeup wearer every single day. So I felt like
You had to be.
once I started, like it really, and like I just said earlier, makeup really is a form of expression to me. And I know a lot of people feel this way. This isn't just me, but you can literally change yourself into whatever version of yourself you want to be that day.
Yeah.
Like today, for instance, I had a job interview. I wasn't going for my big winged liner look, my big, crazy fluffy eyelash. I needed a
Subtle,
look today
business chic.
that would business chic.
Yeah.
Oh, so I needed a look that was going to serve me today and portray the person that I want to portray to those people that I interviewed with.
Yeah.
So I based a look around that. So like you have to also tailor, when the right time is to express yourself in those more bold ways. Like not every day is the day for me to do full glam, glitter, lip gloss, like everything.
Yeah. And it's probably a pain in the ass to do it a lot too.
And it's a lot of work. Yeah. And like, that's fair. Like I know some girls are like, I do the full thing every single day. That's great.
How long
I'm
does it
so
take
happy.
you from beginning to end?
It really varies. It is all different.
Give me a ballpark.
So for a look like this today, it took me about 20 minutes.
See, like now in the beginning, whenever you were younger, did it take a whole long, like,
Oh, yeah.
way longer?
Oh, absolutely. Like I would sit in front of the mirror, I don't know, for like an hour and a half or 2 hours sometimes, trying to get my wing right or trying to figure out like how to fix these mistakes that I made.
And who were like your inspirations back then? Did you have those?
Lights. Oh my
Oh yeah, I forgot
loved
about
Lights,
her.
yeah.
Forgot about her.
Yeah, she was a big inspiration because of her big bold liner, and I like had like the black like long ridiculous hair,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I could totally look like this girl if I would put my black winged eyeliner on like this. And so that was a big inspiration. And I think over time, like Lady Gaga did become an inspiration for me because she's so bold and expressive with her makeup, and it's a little bit different. Like it was always a little bit different than what everybody else was doing.
Yeah. Now you grew
And
up.
she has a huge, like, I feel like she and I are like on the same level when it comes to love for makeup because she really has like a real appreciation for it.
Who?
Lady Gaga.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Lady Gaga is absolutely obsessed with makeup. I mean, she has her own makeup line now.
Yeah.
House Laboratories, but, whenever she talks about makeup and how transformative it is, I really like that resonates with me.
Yeah.
I connect with that a lot.
Now, so your younger sister is not crazy into makeup.
No, not at all. It's funny that you brought that up.
So I think it's funny because like, we were talking about like your mom being like, impactful on you with makeup, but like Marissa isn't really like crazy into makeup. And it's funny because like,
you know why? Because I used to sit her down. We lived in this house in New Kent, and we had like a little like spare room where we kept our toys and stuff, and it was like the office.
Yeah.
So we were in there, and I would be like trying to draw on her face. That's another thing. Like
well, it's funny because
she always
like,
hated it because I would want her to like be my model. Like
Yeah.
I was like, sit down, you're getting your makeup done. Come on.
it's funny because one of the best parts of like us being married is like throughout each and every day we still learn like funny shit about each other. And the other day
It is funny, and I think you're asking provoking questions today. So
I am. I'm trying to be,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like a good journalist,
Yeah.
a good interviewer. But I think it's funny because the other day we were talking about we were talking about something about your hair back then, and then you told, or no.
Oh, yeah.
I was scrolling through all your old photos, and you had a photo of Marissa and you, and
Yeah.
Marissa looked like a little boy almost because her hair was so short. And I asked you why her hair was that short, and you said that, I want you to tell me why.
Okay, so we were probably, I think I was a freshman in college, and Marissa was a senior in high school.
Wait, that was when she was a senior?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought she was in like middle school.
No, or maybe she was a junior in high school.
She had to be a little bit, yeah.
I don't know, maybe a junior. So she would never take care of her hair. Like, she just did not care about brushing it. She was never like a keeping up appearances type of person. Like, she was like, this is me. I show up. This is me. That's it.
But your
This is what you
mom
get.
made her cut it?
So yeah, so Marissa wouldn't like brush her hair, like take care of it on a regular basis. So my mom was like, well, you don't deal with it, then you don't get to have it. So she got so frustrated because like Marissa's hair like was gross, for real. It was.
That's terrible.
She's going to be laughing when she hears this.
She might hate
Because
you
she
for
knows.
this.
No, she knows. We were so young. But she made her cut her hair, and like I brought this up to her when we talked about this, and she was like, I can't even believe that you remember that stuff. And I'm like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, so I thought that was hilarious, but like it's so interesting that like
But she is not a makeup person.
I know
but
it's so interesting because like you're so into it and she's not, but I guess like me and my brother are super different too,
But I feel like Marissa was never really into, like, at least that young, was never really into any girly stuff. Like, she totally is now. She's got like, she
Yeah.
buys a nice makeup. She has a nice like hair tools.
yeah, but back then she was in like video games and like
she
stuff
was
like that.
exactly. She was in a video game. She didn't really care. She was just kind of like, oh, I do all this stuff, so I'm not super worried about getting myself ready for it.
Now,
So, yeah, and I think she was in color guard and stuff too.
yeah,
She was
spinning
doing all kinds of stuff.
flags or guns.
That's probably where she wore the most makeup, was color guard, because I think they made her.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But so, you know, like you getting into, I mean, I know just because, you know, I know you, that
Mm-hmm.
this was never an idea, like you doing makeup as a job.
Never.
I know. So, you know, it's so interesting to me because it's like, you know, you created this like huge business off of, you know, just something you've done every day.
To myself.
Yeah, that you've done every day to yourself. And it's so interesting because it's like now you do it to other people on like the most important days of their lives. Like some
crazy.
of them, it's some of the most important days of their lives.
And when you put it that way, it makes it way more overwhelming than.
Yeah, I mean, it's super wild.
Yeah.
But it's cool that like, you know, because, you know, we've been together since you were still in college. I was out
Yeah.
of college, but, you know,
I feel like college is where my appreciation for makeup got really serious. Like I started to, like I was working a lot, so I always had extra money in my pocket.
Yeah.
So I would start to like buy the nice products and
do you remember the
invest
first
a
time
little
you
bit
went
in it.
into like a Sephora or like an Ulta?
Oh yeah, I remember what I bought.
What did you?
Yeah.
What did you buy?
I bought a Becca highlighter, and I think Becca's going out of business or is out of business now. But I got a Becca highlighter, and it was like a big deal. It was at the JCPenney Sephora at the Pittsburgh Mills, which I also think is closed.
R.I.P. to the Mills.
R.I.P. to the Mills.
You could probably go in there and play paintball or ride go-karts.
Oh yeah,
there ain't no
it would
other
probably be
stores.
so fun to do something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I remember buying that and being like super proud of it because like I was working, I was making my own
What are you,
money.
like 16, 17?
Yeah, like 16 or 17. And then like that's where I bought that first thing. But like that's kind of where it kicked off. And then I was like, all right, it's time for me to like get a little bit more serious and stop buying the $5 foundations and see what the stuff that you actually pay for does. Like,
Yeah. Now this was something that,
like I said, there was no experience in it. Like I had to figure out and navigate the products for myself.
This is something that I was really interested in, that I feel like, you know, as a woman probably resonates with them, but you know, adolescent human beings tend to get acne. Boys get it bad enough by themselves not having makeup on. Girls have to they don't have to, but girls choose to wear makeup every day. And, you know, I know that can't be good. So like, you know,
and whenever you're starting that young, it's probably because you're trying to cover it up.
Yeah. So it's like that, like, do you think that like a lot of girls like, you know, get their initiation into makeup because of something like that? You know, as far as like wanting to like learn how to utilize them the right way?
That's very possible because like when you're thinking
Did you experience that?
Oh yeah.
It's like you had a lot of acne because of makeup?
No, I just had a lot of acne.
Oh, I guess.
And I actually took Accutane because it was so bad.
But the makeup obviously doesn't make it better, but people still choose to use it.
So that's arguable. It depends. So there's some products out there that are oil free and, you know, for sensitive skin, for people who are prone to breakouts, that are like things like silicone free. So silicone is like that thick, heavy substance. It's just kind of like lay on over your pores and clog, like not give them enough space and chance to breathe. So like that's what's ultimately the pore clogging.
I get it.
Stuff, but like not every product is built to, I mean, some of it's built to cover up and some of it's built to prevent problems. Yeah,
but it's also, you know, I get that some of them,
you just have to buy the right stuff. But it probably did cause problems because girls weren't educated on it.
Well, I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying that like you're still putting a foreign substance on your face. So it probably doesn't help, you know. I mean, you having a clean face probably just is a little bit better than putting shit on it every day.
And probably when you're that age, you don't know the proper hygiene of keeping your brushes clean and keeping your makeup items sanitized.
I don't know really where I was going with it, but I thought that was like a valid, you know, point to bring up because like I was trying to really think about it.
Yeah, get their start.
I was trying to really think about like, you know, things that like would be, you know, factors in life coming up as someone trying to get into makeup.
But then you also think girls that age are getting into makeup because they're trying to impress boys too. Like that's obviously part of the reason.
Yeah.
You want to make yourself look like your best self.
Or any person.
Anybody who wants to wear makeup, you're probably trying to make yourself look like your best self.
Yeah.
So that you can impress somebody else. And I would definitely say that was true for me. Like I didn't want to be looking like
raggedy.
Some like shrug. Yeah. Like
some shrug.
I don't know. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I didn't want to be looking like just off the street. I wanted to be put together and like, because I wanted a guy who was a little bit put together too. And
you got me.
Yeah, you're super well put together.
With my burly beard. But, you know, it's interesting that you kind of like navigate your life because like, you know, makeup is something that I know that, you know, you got to think of how many people do it and how many people, you know, are probably good at it because they do it so much over the years that don't really think to like try to monetize it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I thought that was interesting, you know, kind of in hindsight, thinking about it like today and yesterday. It's like, it's interesting that so many people do it, but, you know, not as many people you would think would monetize it. But it's such like a weird thing.
Well, because it's a business. It's not just I get to put makeup on people's faces and it's so fun. It's like
I get that.
I deal with some shit.
I get that.
For sure.
I know, and I know we're gonna get into it. But but before that is what I'm saying is that like, you know, there was a period of time in our life where you were not you weren't happy with what you were doing, you know, with your free time.
Yeah.
Like I remember you like
that's because I've been so used to like having two jobs, like the majority of my life or like going to school and working. Like I always had like two things going on and I felt like that kept my mind going.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that whenever we first moved in together. I just had my full-time job.
Yeah, so I mean, you did that, and then like I remember like
I worked at the bowling alley.
Yeah, shout out to the bowling alley. The
Crafted Ingram Lanes.
Yeah, Crafted Ingram Lanes. Go down there, and it's a good time.
Josh will tell you it's not called a bowling alley. He'll call it
bowling center,
something like that. Yeah, bowling center.
Bowling center. But you know, it's so interesting because when we started, you were like, oh, I don't know what I want to do. I want to do something to try to make money. Like I want to like try to figure out something that I could enjoy and do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember you wanted to try to bake it one time. And then like all of a sudden you were like, I think I could do wedding makeup. Like I remember you saying that to me.
And I think it was because like I wanted to do something else, but I really, honestly, when we got married, I just like fell in love with weddings and like what they are and what it takes to do a wedding. Like I just love weddings. And that's really where like the inspiration came from. And that's why I wanted to do cakes at first, because I was like, oh my God, I could totally bake a cake. Like what they're doing, I could bake a cake and sell it to somebody and be like, this is your wedding cake.
And
like,
then you look at people like Alex Roba.
and I'm like, fuck, like there's no way in hell I could do anything like that.
If you guys are looking for wedding cakes, Alex Roba on Instagram, he was
Fantastic.
episode 100. I interviewed
Wish I would
him.
have met him.
He's one of the most talented bakers. You know, he makes
And he
wild
seemed
shit.
so sweet. He seemed really nice on the podcast.
He really was, and he's good at what he does. But you know, weddings is definitely like a
Wedding's
vibe.
a business.
You know what I mean?
Okay?
Like there's that's a world. That's a whole world.
It's a whole world.
And I didn't
people
really
don't
get that.
realize how, just like how you had Sarah McAlley on talking about funerals. Funerals is a whole world.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you go to a funeral, you're like, oh, I'm here. Like, but that's a whole world. Just like with the wedding industry is an entire world.
Yeah.
And I always say like, there's never going to be a shortage of funerals or weddings. People are always going to get married. People are always going to die.
I guess.
Why not? Why not invest in one of those things?
Well, it is interesting because it's like, so I want to talk about what it was like for you to get started with
Okay.
this. So when you decided to say, you know, I'm going to do wedding makeup,
Yeah.
you know, like what is your plan of action as just a regular everyday makeup user? Because you obviously know that you're going to have to, you know, have a kit and you're obviously going to have more shit that
Yep.
matches, you know, not everyone is your skin tone.
Yeah.
Not everyone is your, plus you need shit for, you know, business use. So
Right.
like, what is your mindset?
So I took a lot of advice from friends
Yes.
to get started, because some of my closest friends, like Katrina Cahill, does wedding hair, and I had been super familiarized with that industry when she talked about it with me a lot. So I felt like I was kind of indirectly like absorbing that information and trying to understand like how that operates.
Yeah.
And like she had friends who did wedding makeup, and I observed them a lot and like listened to the things that they said, things that they need. I knew that I was going to need to collect a kit and have, you know, many shades of everything, many options of eyeshadows, many this and that. I knew it was going to take a lot, but I had to start small because I wanted to, I guess like I was really trying to think of my end goal. Okay, I want to do wedding makeup. What are the steps that I need to do to get there? Build a kit is one of them. Practice on faces is another. Actually book maybe a small wedding who like is okay. Like some people are willing to accept, you know, you're just starting, and I'm
Yeah.
serious.
I
Like
know.
I'm serious.
I know.
You know, you're just starting out, you're charging $40 a face just to walk in the door and
Just to put something on.
make your money back,
Yeah.
basically. So when I first started, I collected, I think I went to like Ulta and got a blend of things. I got the higher end foundations because I know that whenever it comes to wedding makeup, you need longevity out of it.
Yeah.
You can't put something on somebody's face like a BB cream
Yeah.
that's
You
going
got
to
a whole
wipe
night
off.
that's going to be sweat, tears,
Yeah.
you know, could be rain.
So you gotta get the right products to suit what the need is.
Yeah.
So it's like that for any makeup artist. Like if you're doing like special effects makeup, like you're not using the same stuff that I'm using
Yeah.
on bridal. It's two totally different worlds. So started collecting, you know, just small amounts, like maybe one really light shade and one really dark shade and a warm and cool tone so that I had some stuff to mix.
Yeah.
So I, you know, just started out really small, had 4 foundations, like a nice array of powders, and I think like lip products, eye product, just like the bare minimum stuff that you need to get through a job. Like
Yeah.
not not a 10-person wedding situation where I have to hire an assistant. I'm talking like I have the bride and her sister today. So I'm gonna go to their house and I'm gonna go and try to put something on their face and see how it turns out, see what their feedback is. So even before that though, once I started collecting those items, I started reaching out to friends and I said, hey friends, like Anna Calabrese was one of them. She came to our apartment and I asked her to sit and just let me do my thing. See what I could come up, what kind of look I could come up with, see where I need to improve, take photos of it, critique myself later so that the next step would be do it again, but do it better.
Yeah.
On another friend. So that's where I really started. At first I was like, nah, dog, like I do not want to do this. I don't think that I'm right for it. I don't think I'm suited for it.
What were the things that discouraged you?
Honestly, like, can I just be totally blunt? I did not think I could stand and do makeup. And I'm serious, like my back, I didn't think that I could do it.
Crooked neck.
Because I didn't have the right equipment. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's problem number one. These are things that I've learned along the way. So, you know, I had somebody sit in like one of these dining room type chairs and I'm like, so I'm hunched over and I was like, I can't even see their full face. Like, I don't think that I could just like pick up and do that. Like I can't see where the shadows and the contour of their face underneath because I'm above them. We need to be eye level. So that was a first mistake that I made that honestly almost put me out of the game because I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So, you know, the application wasn't great. It wasn't bad. Like I have some pictures from when I first started to now, and you could definitely see a difference and an improvement. But it was like I knew how to do it on myself, but doing it on somebody else is totally different.
You got different skin tones, different contours of your face, the shape, the type of skin, oily,
These are
dry.
all things that I did not
see. I know this now because
I
know this now because of that.
Yep. So these are all things that I did not prepare myself for, and like I tried to, but when it came down to it, it took real experience, real learning of me.
Going through that and like having to deal with like someone who has like a round face, someone who has dry skin or oily skin.
Absolutely.
So you just had to really get the experience of that and learn how to adapt to it and learn how to deal with it.
Because even like I would even so let's say I did the bride and her sister in the early days, and I would try to find their photos from later on in the wedding day to see
creeping.
Yeah, I was creeping, but it was for the benefit of my own learning and business. So
I creep on everyone that I have on here.
You have to. Yeah. Like, but I wanted to look and see how their skin reacted with the various products that I use, like how it lasted throughout the day. So I could help myself improve for the next time and help the longevity of their makeup and making sure oil didn't peek through and things like that. So it took time. Like I wouldn't say I was super comfortable in my own skin when it comes to just showing up for a wedding for like a year. It probably took me a year to be really.
So the first year that you did this, how many weddings do you think you had?
Not a lot. Maybe 10.
Okay.
12, 13.
And they were all like smaller ones.
All smaller ones. I was not, like I said, comfortable enough in what I was doing
to bring
somebody else or book weddings that are too big. I didn't want to book anything too big.
So that's what I'm getting at. It's like in the beginning, you get your kit ready and you just have that busted ass rolling luggage. And you
try to find people who are willing to pay you a couple bucks just to come to their wedding.
So like for you to do that, like what was your process to do that? Like if someone's listening to this that wants to be a makeup artist, like what's a process? Like how do you do that in the beginning?
Like how do you streamline that the right way?
How do you say, hey, I'm pretty new at this. Let me fucking put makeup on you for your wedding day.
Like how did I approach it?
Yeah. Like how do you recommend, how did you approach it?
Okay. So there are multiple ways that you can access brides when it comes to the internet now.
Social media pages, Facebook and shit.
Facebook groups. Yeah. So I was very, very active in a Facebook group called the Pittsburgh Wedding Community. I've since left the group and I'm not super keen on it anymore. That's neither here nor there. But
drama.
Yeah, there's definitely drama in tea. But I started because brides would reach out on there and say I'm looking for a wedding makeup artist. My budget is X amount of dollars. You know, if you're available on this date, then please respond.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like there's lots of groups like that out there for various.
There's people that already like set that precedent. Like, you know, I'm looking for an affordable person.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could tell, you know, by looking at people's photos, someone who always has a full face on to someone who doesn't really wear makeup that much. And
that's true too. Yeah. And like, you know, people would set their budgets out there. They'd be like, you know, we're okay with if it's somebody just starting out. So I would respond to posts like that.
Yeah.
And just try to link up with them. And I just did it cash under the table because it was really just
like
enough money to like,
it was like here and there,
just enough money to cover the cost of product that I was using.
Now, what was your, you know, what's your thought the night before a wedding? Like, do you remember that pretty good?
Like
your first
me
wedding?
freaking out the night before a wedding.
Well, I don't really. So, you know, I would assume that you freaked out pretty good by knowing you, but I don't remember that exactly. And I feel like I should remember your first wedding that you did. But, you know, how do you like, are you like up there?
I think that I made the girls come for free trials at first so that I could give it like a test run to see how I would perform. And then if we needed to change anything or adjust on the wedding day, we would do that.
Yeah.
So I tried to work those kinks out before. I'm a businesswoman at heart. Like I try to prepare myself before I go into any situation the right way so I'm not scattered. Because I did not want to walk into somebody's wedding day that they're trusting me to do their makeup for $25 or whatever the fuck I was charging.
Yeah.
And you know, hope for the best, I guess. Like I feel like it should be.
Well, I mean, like
I was preparing.
So that you're preparing, but it's like also it's like how do you prepare for as far as like what you have in your kit, like that you know that you like did you
I mean the same things that I would use on my own face to create a full
I guess
face.
That makes a point.
So like
makes a good point.
I mean. You don't use everything,
but you want to
have it on deck.
It. Yeah,
absolutely.
Now you doing this, like, you know, you said it took about a year for you to, you know, kind of get comfortable and well versed in it. So
part of that, and it's not, I wouldn't even say it's just like the wedding makeup aspect. Like I was new to the wedding industry.
That's what I was going to bring up. It's not just doing makeup. It's learning the business.
It's learning the business because weddings are a one-time, one fell swoop thing. Usually, you're not usually having the same bridal client in the same couple years.
Can I give you my interpretation of your business, and then you could explain it out?
Yeah.
So, I feel so overwhelmed for you by just the way that I see you. Responding,
like almost in tears sometimes.
Responding to emails, just like trying to schedule shit out. Like your calendar is a fucking mess.
But that's now. It was never like that.
I get that, but I mean, like that's where we are. So like, it's like it's overwhelming for me because it's like you're saying that weddings are like a one-time thing, but it's also like it's a one-time. It's one of the most important things for every single client you have.
Every single client.
So every single client you have thinks that like, you know, this is my wedding day. This is like the most important. So I need the best of the best,
and I need to look the best that I've ever looked in my entire life.
But it's also like, you know, these people are, you know, coming at you with all this stuff saying like, you know, like this is, you know, basically this is their most important day of their life. Yeah. Like they need you at every beck and call, but it's like, you have how many weddings this year? Like a shit
Probably
ton.
like 30.
Yeah. So it's like it's crazy because you're getting like 30 different experiences with all these people.
Oh, and it's not just that. I'm also planning for next year. I'm already starting to get people on the books for next year.
No big deal. But
so get it in, ladies. Get that email in.
But it's interesting seeing like the growth that it was from like the beginning of you know, kind of just in that like fake it till you make it kind of panic mode.
Yeah.
To where you're just like, I got this is this. And then it's just like, you know, you're just like, you're in a groove right now. And it's awesome to see you embrace it, to know, you know, like you're like, I got to get my kit ready. You got all this, everything's organized in there. And like, you're just like, you know, you're bossing up, you know.
I'm trying to.
You are though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I really like that observation. Thank you.
You're bossing up, and it's cool because I was reflecting on this. I knew that we were going to do this interview, and I didn't want to do another one of just us dicking around about like our regular relationship. I wanted to come at you as like, a businesswoman, and I wanted to learn your business.
Appreciate that.
And it is impressive for me to be able to see it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
From the way that it was in the beginning and how you thought things, how you thought that's the way they went, to now being a refined machine.
Yeah.
And like you have a business model. It's like you know
Absolutely.
what you do, and you know how to do it, and you do well at it. And it's just it's refreshing to see how you did. So what are some of the things that
comes with years, people? Don't matter what business you're in. You gotta put your, head down and
have you
just
ever, do you think yourself you've ever fucked up a face?
Oh my God, I've fucked up faces.
On a wedding day?
Oh my God, multiple. And like, maybe not like from their perspective, but from my perspective. So that's part of it, right? The reason that I am where I am at the comfort level that I am with my business is because all of this time I just constantly, and I'm not saying like stress yourself out, but like you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to critique yourself. You have to look back at those photos, figure out where you messed up, and improve for the next time, because it's only going to make you better. Mm-hmm. Once you reach that point of, I can't do it bad anymore because I've been doing it good for so long, that's when you know that that's your shit. You own it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I had to,
comfortable. Like anyone that you're coming at, you can feel comfortable that,
because I feel like any challenge they present me, I can handle it.
Because you've experienced enough now.
Yeah.
And in like the 3 years that you've done it. So it's like now obviously like you work yourself into being very proficient at doing makeup and applying it. But, I feel that regardless of how good you are at applying makeup, you're also kind of on
good
your
at
toes.
The advertising piece.
Well, you're good at that, but you're also on your toes all the time because every customer is different. Every customer comes with different, challenges.
Another,
and like
working weddings, and it doesn't, there's lots of wedding vendors that feel probably similar, is like, you're not just learning your own business, you're learning the wedding business. You're understanding what brides are needing, wanting, how they communicate.
Trends.
You're trying to keep up with their trends. I'm not just trying to keep up with makeup trends. I'm trying to keep up with like the color trends that the florists are presenting and the color trends that bridesmaids are wearing. And like,
amen.
I'm constantly trying to figure out what is trendy and stylish right now and what people want, so I can stay relevant.
Swear to
God. That's the truth.
Amen.
And I know that you know this.
I know it.
That's how you are in business. Anybody in business knows that.
I know. And I like that. I like seeing that about you because you really do like, submerge yourself into work.
Gotta.
And, you could tell
I
like
have a full-time job too, guys.
I know, no big deal. But like you are great at, your social media is great for what it is. Like you're doing well. Like I like that you're implementing reels on your social media.
I look like a corny idiot today, but I thought it turned out kind of cute.
Yeah, that was cute. You looked cute doing that.
Thanks.
And I like that you do things like that. It's like your page looks good, and being someone who has something like this podcast, and like I also like it's motivating for me because I'm watching you grow a business.
Yeah.
I'm growing a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
absolutely, it's
interesting to do this in a parallel.
It is, because I feel like we could give each other advice in the right ways. Like I think in a sense we are growing together, even though we're in our two different paths, but
if you change, you're growing.
If you're growing, you're changing. But, we're in our own paths, but we're definitely trying to learn from each other's mistakes too.
I think we started a similar time.
We did.
I think you started maybe 6 months after me.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see how you adapt.
I think that was part of it too. You were doing something and I was like, I gotta do something too. I'm just sitting here doing nothing.
I'm trying to do something, you know what I mean? But it's cool to see how you adapt to things and how I have to adapt to things. And because it's mine's a little bit more forgiving, doing the podcast, because I'm just talking to people. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to talk to people.
See, that's another thing about makeup, and a lot of people don't realize this. I am literally, hairstylists do this too. I'm talking to every single person and I'm having an entirely new conversation every 40-minute appointment.
Yeah.
And I'm learning like that person's whole life, basically.
I get that, but I'm saying
that's another thing. You gotta be adaptable and you gotta be personable. And like, it's like, yeah, you're just sitting here and having a conversation. I mean,
well, the reason
you're not just having a conversation, you are also tweaking and
I get
adjusting.
That.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I'm talking to these people and it's a little bit more forgiving because, you know, there's not a tangible product that I have to put out. You know, I could talk and we talk for so long that it's a forgiving time frame that I could get to it. But it's like you're doing these weddings and you have to deal with like, you know, what the brides are super critiquey about. And then you have to deal with moms and sisters and best friends. And I hear about
all while keeping it in a 4-hour time frame to get them out the door and dressed.
Well, not even that, but you know, some of these people you're dealing with months ahead of time with emails and stuff like that. And granted, you have a lot of good people.
So this is the way that that I've learned how I like to operate my business. Like everybody likes to do it differently, but let's start like from a bride reaching out to me. So if a bride reaches out to me, I am first inquiring, you know, what's your date? How many people do you have? Where's your location? Those 3 things can help me determine if I think that we're a right fit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you got 14 people and you're in, you know, New York City, New York, like I can't do that. It's not feasible. So, you know, you start there and then, you know, if it does make sense, I have 5 people, it's in Washington, PA, where we need to get ready in 4 hours. Great. Fantastic. I can move forward and we can talk about your date. So then from there, I'll provide the bride that information. They'll decide if they want to go with me. And then they will book electronically. It's super simple, nothing crazy, ridiculous. So really what I've found over time is that if someone books me and then there's a long period of time before their wedding date, I feel like that's where I'm having the most correspondence because there's so much unknown. I really feel like that's where a lot of my back and forth happens. Whenever I'm getting those emails like, you know, we want to change this, we want to change that. Those are like the hard things that are for me to deal with and get through is like, maybe we booked too early. Maybe there's too many things still up in the air. You know, that's where a lot of that back and forth comes from. But I tend to see that whenever somebody books me more close to their day, I don't know, let's say like 3 months out, they're pretty certain with what's going on. They know like how many people are going to be there. It's because that timing factor leaves too much to the mind.
Yeah.
It leaves too many mysteries.
Quit tapping that pen.
Sorry. Too many mysteries in between. I have such a habit of doing this. I used to do it at my desk at work, but I don't have a desk at work anymore. Yeah. So like, that's where you'll see a lot of back and forth. And then, you know, once you're booked, then we'll try to figure out a date for a trial. If you want to do a trial, we can look at what you are thinking about for your wedding day. If you want to make changes,
do you prefer
I'll get a lot of back and forth between
to have
that.
A trial?
So I'm indifferent about it. I am fine with having a trial, but also I feel like you booked me because you looked at my work and you know that you want me to do your makeup. Like you looked at, if you like 90% of my work, you will like it on yourself. Yeah. Is how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like any product, like if you like the way a t-shirt looks on 90% of people, you're probably going to like it on yourself. So think about it that way. But what was the question? I was
talking about the process of like,
oh yeah. So, if I prefer a trial or not. So if you don't do a trial, honestly, you guys just show me a picture and we can figure it out. I'm pretty confident that I can communicate what you're looking for. And if we can't, I do everything in my power to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the back and forth comes from.
Well,
too.
How do you deal with, you know, I mean, do you ever have brides that are unhappy?
Absolutely.
With the makeup you put on them?
All the time.
I know you said one time you came home and you were like, you said someone wiped their whole face off.
Oh, yeah. So I think that goes back to one of the questions that someone asked in the stories the other day. So they were looking for a bad mother-in-law or mother experience that I had. And, you know, I don't consider anything a bad experience. I think everybody has their own way of dealing with things. And that's something that I've learned from doing this and so long on so many different people. Everybody has their own way of dealing with things. If they don't like something, they might tell me that maybe it like irritated them. So like this one particular time, this lady came back and said, I had to wipe my whole face off. And I was like, why? And she was like, I was having an allergic reaction to it. And I mean, she told me ahead of time that she had sensitive skin. So I used very gentle products on her. And I was very careful with applying things and making sure like nothing was cross contaminated, like not even an eyeshadow, nothing. So when she came back with her face wiped clean, I took that as, you know, I did the best of my ability to meet your expectations. You told me that you had sensitive skin, and I tried to make sure that nothing would affect you. I looked at your face when you came back. It was okay. Like there was no redness or irritation. So I know that you weren't really having a reaction.
Just wasn't happy.
She just wasn't happy with it. And like, that's okay. I just want people to be upfront and honest with me. And honestly, the best way to tell me how you want me to do your makeup is to show me a picture. It really is, because and just one picture. Okay?
How do you manage people's expectations though?
So that's
because if they're
tough.
looking at pictures, you know, if you're looking at pictures,
so I would prefer if you took one picture of mine and showed me what you liked, and because that would be helpful to me. But I've definitely had like,
I never thought about that.
Oh yeah, I have brides that do that, and it's great because I know exactly what products I used.
Yeah.
And it helps me so much, and
Because
I can meet what they want.
If you have people that send you pictures of fucking, you know, Kim Kardashian, you know, it's different.
Yeah. So I did have that. I had somebody send me 3 pictures of Kim Kardashian and J-Lo, and then said, AKA, or by the way, this is me at the bottom. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it was a picture.
I couldn't tell. It was
J-Lo, and then Kim Kardashian.
And then Kim again.
Another picture of Kim, and then a regular person. And she said in brackets, or at the quotations at the end, or at the, parentheses at the end, bottom pick is me. And it's like, man.
Couldn't tell. But either way, yeah, so like I do have people that have extremely unrealistic expectations, and part of that is like the society that we live in. Like nothing's perfect, but you see all these Photoshop makeup pictures out there.
Yeah. So that now, how long? I mean, like people have been photoshopping photos
for bajillions a year.
MySpace days.
Oh, for magazines, everything.
But it's like, yeah, people, and I never really like thought about that. It's like people look at like these
totally unrealistic
these advertisements from different brands, and like you have like a picture of fucking Kim Kardashian with like a perfect face, and like,
but then there's regular pictures of Kim Kardashian out there where you can see every single pore on her face, because that's how reality looks.
Yeah, it's such like a weird idea to really think about that, because like, you know, they advertise these things to make everything look how it is, but I guess it's even the same. I'm glad you
brought this up, and let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Lots of brides have a very common misconception that airbrush makeup equals photoshopped pictures on the wedding day. That's a huge misconception. Airbrush makeup does give you a fuller coverage, at least the way that I do it. I know everybody does it a little bit differently, but I think they bring pictures like that to me and then think that if they get airbrush makeup, that every blemish on their face is going to disappear. They're not going to have, you know, frown lines, pores, laugh lines, nothing. And then I put makeup on them and they're confused as to why the stuff didn't disappear. So I can cover what we have and make it look as even as I possibly can. but I can't make things disappear. I can't make your zit disappear. I can't make my zit disappear. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen, but we could do our best to blend it all
Make
in
it work.
so that when you are photographed, all of those things are as blurred out as I could possibly make it.
Yeah.
And then honestly, your photographer probably goes back in and does some professional retouching because that's the world that it is. Like,
Yeah.
not every photographer does, but some do.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about that though.
Yep.
Like the whole world of perfection
Yes.
in advertisement.
So I try really hard to not over edit. I do edit slightly, okay, because everybody does.
Yeah.
I'm sure you edit your podcast photos.
Yep.
I do edit slightly to blur a little bit as if the natural sun was hitting you.
Yeah.
That's the way that I try to make it look. I don't erase pimples. I don't erase pores. Like, what you have is what you have.
Yeah, you're
and
lying,
my
you're
makeup
dying.
really is, if you're lying, you're dying. I'm very confident that my makeup is going to make you look as perfect as it possibly can. I
Yeah.
really am confident in that.
I like that. I like
Thanks.
that confidence you got.
Thanks.
So like as far as, doing makeup and running a business,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like you're on a pretty consistent growth, and I think that you are, adapting how you're growing, and it's
If you're
refreshing.
changing, you're growing.
Yeah, if you're changing, you're growing. But it's refreshing to see. So let's like, what are your goals besides for what we just talked about? It's like, what are your other goals of a makeup business? Like, what are your hopes for the next couple years?
That's hard to say because I like the wedding business in general. Like, I would like to see myself doing something in the wedding business full time in the future. Maybe not necessarily makeup, maybe something else. But I don't know. I think I'm going to keep on keeping on with the weddings because business is good and I feel good about it. It's not, it's work, but like when I go to a wedding,
You enjoy it.
I enjoy it. I have so much fun. I feel like I get to hang out with the girls. Like, I'm just like part of the party.
Yeah, you came
and
home
like,
and you were talking about how good it is because every girl on their wedding day is like listening to a good playlist. Of good
yeah.
music.
So like we're just jamming, we're singing, we're talking, we're gossiping. Like, it's so much fun, especially when I do have the opportunity to like work with my friends who do hair. Like, that's so fun. Or work with my friends who do makeup. Like, we literally just get to hang out and put makeup on people. Like,
Yeah.
It sounds like nothing. It's a lot of work. Like, it's like 45 minutes a person. It's very steppy, but it is like a fun job. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, that makes sense. So as far as like, can you ever like, what's like a comfortable number for you to have
That's
weddings?
a good question.
You know what I mean?
So you mean number of people?
Well, people, but also, weddings per year because
okay.
it's like now we're in like
So
this
wedding
weird
season is like usually April to like end of October usually is when it starts tapering off. Like, some people will have winter weddings and stuff. I might only book one or two.
Yeah.
But you'll probably see like a busy summer for me is like 25 to 30.
And is that like a good number that you want? Like that's
I
almost
think now it is. Like, I think I was overdoing it last year. I was trying to book like Fridays and a lot of Saturdays and Sundays, and I just had too much. I think I was doing like 40 and it was just out of control.
Yeah.
But a lot of it ended up getting pushed because of COVID. But I guess I'm talking more about the year before that. But
Yeah.
I knew that I overdid it. So I tried to be more cognizant of what I booked this year so that I could have some opportunity to breathe.
Yeah. That would
between the
make
two
sense
jobs.
rather than having to do multiple weddings each weekend.
But number
day
of
in and day out.
people that I'm comfortable with on my own is usually like 7 is probably my cap. I could do 8 if I really need to, but it's nice to be able to hire somebody on at that point in time to help.
Just to take some of the stress off you.
Yep. But I'm not a team. So I'm not a team of people. I'm usually by myself. So that's, when I get the inquiries for like 12 or 13 people, I usually have to reject them because it's not something that I can accommodate. It's a little bit too much for me.
What, like to speak on what we were talking about with COVID and everything like that, it's like, it was such an interesting time last year because, obviously the world shut down.
And events are changed forever.
Yeah. And it's so weird because, just like you said, the events are changed forever. Like, it was before it was like a common thing that like a wedding was like a celebration. You invite people that like,
everybody,
just people
your
that
mailman,
you were,
like you invite everybody.
Yeah. And now it's like, I feel like that we kind of broke away from that norm, that social norm of like a regular banger wedding to like, being able to have like 40 or 50 of your closest people. And, it's interesting to think about that end of it all and, how everything got pushed through COVID because obviously people are trying to schedule it all now this year. I'm still having inquiries rolling in for dates this year and I don't have them because like everybody last year that was on my book already scheduled them. And this is probably like a lot of wedding vendors that are having the same issue, but I did what I could to honor what they've already booked with me for this year. Yeah. Some stuff didn't work out just because like you had different
stuff, but I did the best that I could. So that knocked out like half of the clientele that I wanted for this year. So I really did lose last year. If we're being honest, I didn't do as many weddings as I wanted to. And I was supposed to do a little bit better than I did, but this year is on track to be better. Yeah. But yeah, I still have stuff rolling in for 2021. I don't have it. Like,
and it got to be overwhelming now because everyone's
because I'm one person. Like if I was a team, it would be different.
But who had to push their stuff? Yeah. Everyone's trying to find a person now. So I mean, like that's crazy to think about. But that as far as
venues, florists, like photographers, everybody is basically like booked out of control.
So as far as like,
excuse me, sorry, I keep burping in front.
That's all right.
Embarrassing.
From the old Pepsi, cherry Pepsi. Mm-hmm. But as far as like now, do you think that it's, I don't want to say it. Do you think that weddings are going to slow down with COVID or no? I don't think so either.
I don't. And I think honestly, more people that get vaccinated and more stuff that is allowed to open up and whatever, it's just going to be back to regular. Like people are going to
They want weddings.
They're going to want big events because
they haven't been able to do nothing for a year.
And like, I think right now the trend is the smaller events. And I think it will trend probably through this end of this year, but next year people aren't going to give a shit. Like people are going to book 250 people weddings and just not care.
That's a good point.
Whatever.
So the goal is to just keep on keeping on and rip through this year and be successful with it.
Mm-hmm. That's the goal.
Anything you think you can get better at that you want to work on more?
Honestly, I want to develop somebody else. I've been thinking about it a lot. I would like to start looking for somebody who might want to apprentice. I would like to show them some of my techniques and what I do so that I can have somebody kind of on deck in case I need help for weddings that would then have a similar skill set to mine.
So for everyone that's listening, Antonette has been in my ears for over a year.
And honestly, I want people's opinion on it, so we should ask.
She wants to teach me.
I want him to be my partner.
Yeah. In life and in business.
Yeah. Because we don't see each other enough.
But she wants me to do wedding makeup. And my thoughts behind it is I would 100% do it. I would have no problems doing it all. But, there's a few things that come into mind.
Yeah.
One,
and I think would concern
you told me too. You walked, whenever you came home a couple weekends ago, you said, I saw a pair of old titties. And you said
because the mother was
you know what I mean. And I don't know if I want to see old titties first of all, but second of all, I don't think
I think people would be a little bit more cognizant of where they're taking their shirt off if there's a man around,
I guess. But I mean, like, do you think that like women really want to have that, like, that conscious thing in their mind, like on their wedding day? I feel like they just want to be around the girls and stuff. And like a guy, like I feel like I'll be like a fucking alien.
Sore thumb, yeah.
But it's also like, believe me, I think about this a lot.
But here's the thing: if you're if you can present the skill set that is needed to complete that bridal party, why would they have a problem with that?
Because I'm a guy and they're going to be...
But I would tell them that if I hire some girl off the street, they ain't going to do shit compared to what you can do because I taught you how to do it. Do you know what I mean?
No big deal.
No, that's what...
No, I get it,
If
though.
you want a consistent product and you want a team to do it, makeup is probably one of the hardest things to do that because like everybody has a totally different style.
I mean, I think it would be dope just because like we would be like, I just envision us like dressing up almost like the Matrix, like
No,
all
we
in
ain't.
black,
Shut up.
like all in black.
No.
The fuck we wouldn't. I'd be dressed in all in black all times.
Oh my God.
I would have the most ridiculous brushes. I'd have brushes whittled out. I'd have Harry Potter wand brushes. You know, I'd be going crazy with it all. I'd be having all kinds of wild shit. But,
Yeah, and they would laugh at you.
But
And
if
I
I
would
was
look
good,
like the pro. Yeah,
but if
if
I
you were
was
good,
good,
does
I
it
was
matter?
good. You know what I mean? But I genuinely.
Here's another thing. I charge what I feel is right for me to be compensated. I don't charge what is right for what I might think is right for my assistant. So if I have an assistant who's like brand new, I might like discount, a couple dollars because somebody's a little bit newer than
these hands ain't full price yet.
But that's what I mean. I think somebody would need to develop under me to meet the same product standards that I like to deliver to my clients.
And that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, I think about this a lot because it would be lucrative. It would be fun to be able to do this, but it's also like, this podcast is my thing.
I know.
You have your thing,
Do you want to cross those paths?
Do you
Probably
want to
not.
cross those
Yeah.
paths? You know what I mean?
We're doing it right here.
I get it, but you're delving into this,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be, at a wedding every fucking
But that's
weekend.
the thing. You don't need
I know,
to be.
only
Like,
for the big ones.
I personally would not book multiple big ones back to back. Like that's just, I know. It comes with the business. You make those calls for yourself.
I know, but it's just like, I think about it and it's like,
I know. I get it because like, do you want to go to some girl's hotel room on a Saturday morning?
8
like
hours.
probably not.
8 hours.
It's not 8 hours. It's
Whatever.
much quicker if you
4
have
hours.
an assistant. Yeah, more like 4
You know
hours.
what I mean? And it's like, whatever. I'm glad you're going to have a great day.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I think
that you have the personality for it because you do need a personality for it. You
I
can't
know.
like
I'll be chatty
let somebody
Cathy.
sit down
You
and
already know.
you're not going to talk to them for.
I will talk to anyone, but
That's
it's
what
all.
I mean.
But it's like, I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But
okay.
I am interested to hear what people
Me too.
have to say, like opinions
too.
as far as like having, a husband and wife team, being your makeup artist, and like having a man in your, environment the morning of your wedding, and if that would make someone feel apprehensive, if that would make someone, is apprehensive the right word? No, nervous? I don't know. That's not the right word.
I think that's right.
Well, even if it ain't, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Bashful, I don't know. But it's
And
like,
also, I think there are certain situations where it may be more acceptable than others. Like
Yeah.
if you get the party ready at the venue and you're not in a hotel room,
Yeah, it's
probably all right.
there's not going to be old titties flapping around.
Right. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But I don't know. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah.
We'll see what's going on with it.
But if anybody is interested and wants to kind of be an apprentice, let's talk.
Yeah, there you go. I think that we did a good job at covering, the makeup the makeup end of everything.
Yep.
You said that there was a couple other questions.
There was a couple other questions. So somebody asked, what are some of your biggest bridal pet peeves? So for the sake of time, I'll give one example. Like I was saying earlier, so like it's not necessarily a pet peeve. It's more like you might have an unrealistic expectation of what the outcome is going to be. I think brides, there's a common misconception of like, we can make ourselves look better. We can't make ourselves look like totally different people. Like if you show me a picture of someone that has, I don't know, like her eyes taped back in a photo, which not everybody knows that that's a trick. Like Lady Gaga does it a lot. Like they'll tape their eyes back with it's skin tape for this purpose. And they'll be like, oh, I want a wing like that. And I'm like, well, you have a hooded eye. So like we can't achieve the same look, if you want me to tape your eye back, then maybe we can achieve the same look, but you're not going to look like the same person. So just like little things like that are some things that not a peeve, but I like to work out the problem with the bride. We talked about the mother-in-law that wiped her whole face off already. So how do you stay educated on current trends? So I think a lot of it, honestly, because we do have things like YouTube now, I watch a lot of videos with celebrity makeup artists, how they approach makeup. For instance, J-Lo's makeup artist, I think he started out as like a fine art type of artist. Like he literally painted portraits. Like that's what he did. So,
oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So he thinks of makeup more in terms of where the light's hitting you. Because that's how artists, you got to know where your light source is. So like J-Lo's makeup artist, and I think about this for bridal too, because I do educate myself on what other people are doing. But you know, you're getting those photos. You might have flash. It's coming right at your face. You need to figure out how you can still create those shadows on the face with the light source coming directly at you or directly above you. So you have to consider all those things when you're applying makeup on somebody and the different contours of their face and how it's going to look when something like that occurs. That's a big way that I stay on top of the current trends, is just seeing what other people are doing and trying to keep up with it.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the gauntlet?
Do we need to do we've been on the phone. We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Hey, every single time that we do Desert Island questions, Antonette starts just being a negative Nancy about it. So I do an ending segment with every single one of my guests, including you.
Why would it change?
Called Desert Island Questions. Desert Island Questions is whenever I give each and every single one of my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until expulsion. Let me get through it all. And to be fair, I've had numerous people on here numerous times, and they all have to do Desert Island Questions over and over again. And on top of this, no. Let me finish. On top of this, the last few times that we've done this, you have been a negative Nancy and refused to do Desert Island Questions. And we've gotten to the point almost where we've gotten in heated fights about this. So I told you days in advance to prepare yourself for Desert Island Questions, and we are going to do it. Antonette's face shows me that she did not give a shit about what I said. So, first category, 3 things to watch on a desert island.
All right, practical magic.
Amen.
I'm making this up right now. The Wedding Singer.
I love that. It's fitting.
It is.
Quit tapping that pen.
What's the third thing?
Housewives.
Sure, Housewives.
You got a lot there. You see how much she
I put 1 down for CDs.
Hey, everyone, do you see how much time and consideration I took trying to be a professional interviewer, coming at her from a place of genuine feeling? Do you think I give a fuck about different types of makeup in my everyday life? No. But I am a good person, and I am a professional, and I started to care about it for this interview. So entertain me, please.
Hey, as a follow-up, you got to have Katrina on. You got to do it.
I told her. I told her to let me know when. All right. Second category. I usually say 3 books to take with you, but I want you to tell me 3 essential pieces of makeup that you think everyone should have.
So I think that everybody needs to have a concealer or foundation liquid. Everybody.
And what's the one that you prefer yourself?
My favorite is Estee Lauder Double Wear, but another drugstore version of something similar would be, I think, like a L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour foundation. I like that one too.
That's what I use.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I think you should always have that. You should always have a setting powder. to set it all down, because there's going to be times where you got shit on your face, like pimples and stuff that you want to cover up.
Yeah.
So you should always have something like that. And then you should also always have like some type of bronzing powder or blush or something to bring that color back into your face. I think that for me, skin is the most important part. If you can't get your skin right, if your skin looks like trash and your eyes look crazy, gaudy, like over the top, it's just all going to look like shit. It just doesn't make sense. So you have to have
Foundation,
your foundation
setting powder.
right. Foundation, setting powder, and some type of bronzing powder or a blush.
I would have never guessed that you would have said all that. I thought you were going to say eyebrow pencil, mascara.
Not everybody needs that.
I guess, yeah. Good point. Fair point.
I think everybody needs some type of skin.
A lot of people have tattooed on eyebrows nowadays.
That's true too.
Okay, so besides for the 3 essential pieces of makeup, I would like to know 3 different YouTube channels that you personally like watching.
Can we do this instead of CDs? Because I didn't list CDs.
Nope.
Whatever. I probably didn't even have to remind you of that. But so say that again. 3 YouTube channels that I like.
That you personally really like watching.
I really like. She's an airhead, but her name is Kelly Strack. She's like from New Jersey or something. I really like her. She does lots
Parties
of
here, people.
Yeah, she's kind of corny like that too. So, but she's cool. Like she does really, really good makeup.
Yeah.
She knows products pretty well, but you could tell like by her videos, she's an airhead. Just big money for no reason. And everybody sends her free shit.
Okay.
Who else do I like?
The sweetest.
I used
bitch
to
you'll ever
like
meet.
Tati, but I think Tati really dug herself a hole.
Yeah. Fuck her. I'm Team James Charles.
Are you teaching?
But that was funny whenever that was all going on.
Do you remember that? That was like,
I was
that the
watching all
beginning
that.
of quarantine or even before that?
I mean, there was a stint where we were watching every video with Tati,
That was still
Jeffree
when
Star.
we were in the apartment.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And James Charles and all that. Yeah. I won't allow you to bring Tati. I always disliked her for the record.
You didn't like her?
She's corny.
I liked her because she did more skincare stuff.
Okay.
Who else?
You picked the airhead. You like that one girl who is she Australian or something?
Yeah, I think she's Australian. I forget what her name is. Something Genevieve.
I don't know.
Whatever. But she's like another famous YouTuber.
Yeah.
But she does like a lot of really soft, natural skin and eye looks, and I like that too.
Who was the big girl that you liked? She was real tall. Blonde. I feel like we watched her for a while.
Oh, Nikki Tutorials? Yeah.
You like her?
I used to, but like I feel like her stuff is a little too extreme for me.
Yeah.
It's almost like err on the drag queen side, and that's like cool, but it's a little too much for my bridal preference.
That makes sense.
What the path that I go down with the more natural.
How about
I call it natural glam. It's like it's you, but the best version of yourself. That's the way I think of it.
All right, last one could be Jeff's channel.
What? I gave you 3.
Okay, yeah, but honorable mention is Jeff's channel because
mention.
Because I want something to watch, so I like Jeffree Star's channel.
And Jeffree Star, he's wild.
He got tea, you know, he got tea, funny dogs, says
Them dogs
funny
are just
shit.
pissing and shitting all over his
says funny
house.
shit. So
he's
it's
got like 6 chihuahuas or something.
Yeah,
No, more than that. He probably has like 10 dogs.
I don't know. They're all funny, but you know, that's all tea and that's all enough content to watch.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact that he came up from MySpace and he's fucking killing it.
I know.
He boss motherfucker.
For the longest time,
You know, he
I
just
thought
got in
was
a
from
car
Ohio.
wreck.
No.
Serious car wreck, supposedly.
It's terrible.
In a Rolls Royce, though, so he was fine, I guess.
Oh my God.
But he
don't know how to fucking drive. He buys all them expensive cars, but he don't know how to drive them.
I don't know. I ain't going to speak for Jeff. But so after the Desert Island questions, we do something called the Death Row Meal. Mm-hmm. The Death Row Meal is whenever I give the guest choice of whatever they want to eat in life. Mm-hmm. So you get as much as you want to eat from wherever you want, anything you want.
I think so. This time I picked bean curd because it's like our recent local spot that we've been hitting up a lot.
Love it.
It's so good. It's
what would
like,
you get there?
It's like your honestly though, We should go to Golden Pig soon.
Yeah, we should.
I forget about it a
She
lot.
was just on vacation. I saw on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
But what I want to know your meal. I need to know the
meal?
appetizer, the main dish,
right.
and a dessert.
So the appetizer is always going to be
Seaweed
a
salad.
a dumpling.
Okay, dumpling.
Love a dumpling.
Okay.
What the heck else?
Main dish.
I don't know. I like their pad thai. It's not bad. It's not my favorite pad thai, but I like it. But I would still eat it as a death row because it's pretty good.
Okay.
And then the dessert.
Yeah. You don't need to be from there. Wherever you want for dessert.
Oh, well, I didn't know we were mixing and matching.
I literally said anything from you.
Oh, sorry. I'm tired. I've been talking about myself for the past 4 hours.
Antonette was like, what are the questions that you ask at the end of the podcast again? Been doing this for fucking almost 4 years. She's been on here 10 times. And that just goes to show you that she does not ever listen to a full episode or
That's not true.
answer the Desert Island
That's
questions.
not true.
Okay. But dessert?
I don't know, like a crepe or something.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so second to last question is, if you're on a road trip, we're going to a road trip to a cabin somewhere. It's about to be 6 hours.
Okay.
You go to a gas station, you get a snack, one snack. Mm-hmm. And this is the only snack you have for the rest of your life while you're driving down the highway to hell. What would it be?
A bugle.
Bugles.
I love a bugle. That's like my car.
A bugle.
I don't know why, that's my road snack, but that's my road snack.
Whatever. Okay.
Good.
Bugles. They're all right. They're all right.
Ooh. Thinking about it right now.
Okay, so after that, the ending segment that I do with not the ending segment, but the last question that I give everyone is, if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
So I've been thinking about this because we've been watching a lot of American Idol lately. I would really like to talk to Katy Perry.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be so cool?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I feel like I have a lot of respect for Katy Perry. She's been in this business for a long time.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, does she really have her name slandered too much?
What was her first single?
Was it I Kissed a Girl? That's what everybody...
That is it.
So she's been at
That's
this for a minute.
banger.
I know, it's old.
I kissed. Yeah, that's a good one. Wow, that's a long time ago. I bet you that came out in 2006.
Probably.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's a good answer. I like that answer. I would love to talk to her. I would
Wouldn't
love to
she
talk
be interesting?
to Blake Shelton, or not Blake Shelton, but Luke Bryan.
Oh my
I'd love
God,
to talk
he's
to
such a
Lionel
cutie.
Richie.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest could keep it.
I know. Kick rocks, Ryan Seacrest.
That fake ass beard you got this season. But
American Idol's been good lately, though.
it has been good. We've been up to date on it. This is the only one I've been up to date on since Ruben stuttered.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Clay Aiken and Ruben stuttered?
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago. That's whenever Paula Abdul was still drinking vodka.
Today's the new moon. Just so you know.
What does that mean?
Or not the new moon, but it's not full moon anymore.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Gonna watch Twilight?
No, but it feels like some type of renewal. Like we're out of whatever we were just in.
We got to get to yoga again.
Yeah.
I really genuinely tried to come at this interview as someone who wanted to learn about
And I really
doing
think that you
makeup.
succeeded.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I am very proud of you.
Thanks.
From being a civilian in your world of business. I don't know much about it. I know what I know from you, but I am very proud of seeing your growth and seeing, I know it's dumb, but your social media, you could tell that it's growing. You look very
Thanks.
professional. I love
made
how
me
you
cry.
Well, I really am motivated by you. I love how you
Motivated
carry
by
yourself.
you. You're part of the reason I do what I do.
And I love that. We're a power couple.
Fuck yeah.
I love that. Where could everyone, come
Find
to
me?
you? Yeah, to inquire about weddings.
If you would like
and
to
anything
inquire
else.
about your wedding, please send me an email, Antonette Medved MUA @gmail.com. Please let me know how many people you might have, what your location is. And I think that's all I ask of them.
Plug your Instagram.
It's at Antonette Medved MUA. I had to think about that, even though it's the same thing that I just said.
Yeah.
So you can find me there. And I don't have a website, though. That's something else I would like to work on.
Another goal,
just so I can really put my portfolio out there and people can take a look and see if I'm the right fit for them.
I love that. Proud of you.
Thanks.
Everyone else that's listening, appreciate it very much as usual. May 1st, Steel City and Turner's Tea. They're dropping their collaboration over at steelcitybrand.com. I do not know how much they are going to have of each piece, so hop on over there and grab it while you can. But please, if you have not yet, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Follow me at I'll Call You Right Back. Follow Antonette at Antonette Medved MUA. Holler at her if you have if you're planning your nuptials. Is that the right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you're planning your nuptials. And if you need a officiant, you already know your boy has done it before, and he is here.
You're just really giving yourself jobs this episode, aren't you?
Hey, I'm trying. I'm out here. I'm hustling, grinding. But I appreciate everyone listening as usual, and I will call you right back.